Okay. Hi, and good morning, everyone, and welcome to the second edition of the Online WaPOR Hackathon. We are very excited to have you all with us today, and hopefully for the next 2 weeks for all the participants with us. My name is Amani Matar. I'm a project assistant at IHE Delft. I work under the Land and Water Management Department. Today, we're joined together to launch the opening session of the WaPOR Hackathon. And this hackathon is being put together by the WaPOR project. It's being implemented by IHE Delft with the support and coordination of the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, the International Water Management Institute, IWMI, and the WaterPIP, Productivity and Practice Knowledge and Action Network project, and the financial support of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Netherlands. As we know, the WaPOR portal is the FAO portal to monitor water productivity through open access of remotely sensed derived data. Initially, the WaPOR started by covering Africa and the Middle East, but recently, as announced in the Rome Water Dialogue, the WaPOR database is going global. Therefore, we are putting together this hackathon this year under the project to challenge participants from different backgrounds, being scientists, engineers, programmers, communication specialists, and others, to work together to create real-life applications for using WaPOR data and communicating it better to the users. We're very excited to be hosting this hackathon, and we'll be working with a group of participants from all around the world. And for this WaPOR hackathon, main theme for this year is communicating data for agricultural applications. And we are working under 3 main sub-themes: storytelling with WaPOR data, linking WaPOR data to other data sources application, and advisory and communication to the agricultural sector. During the next 2 weeks, we'll be working with participants with the support of coaches and experts from different backgrounds that will guide the participants in these 2 weeks to help them create and submit their ideas. We have also a group of jury members from different backgrounds who will be assessing the group and the team pitches over the next 2 weeks, selecting the shortlisted teams for phase 2 and the final winner, which will be announced on October 26. The winner of the hackathon will have the chance to have their idea supported under the WaPOR project for further development. So we hope after this hackathon, we have some great ideas from the teams that will be supported from the project for further development. Today in the opening session, we have 2 welcome words from the speakers, Dr. Marloes Mol from IHE Delft. We have with us also Livia Pizer from FAO, not live with us today. And we have keynote speakers, Dr. Mohammed Harb and Alvaro, who's also not with us live, but we have shared the video. We will start from the first welcome word from Dr. Marloes Mol. Marloes is an associate professor of water resources management. She currently coordinates the water accounting group and the water productivity at IHE Delft, which specializes in using remote sensing data and information for various applications. Dr. Marloes leads several large-scale projects funded by FAO, ADB, the World Bank, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in the Netherlands, including the IHE Delft contribution to the second phase of the WaPOR project on monitoring land and water productivity and by remote sensing. Dr. Marloes, thank you for being with us today, and the floor is yours for the first welcome word.
Thank you very much, Amani, and good morning, good afternoon to everybody on the on this opening session for the WaPOR Hackathon. It's very exciting to be again organizing the WaPOR Hackathon. This is the second edition as part of the second phase of the WaPOR project, and we really are very excited about having the WaPOR data becoming global and having more people from around the globe thinking about how to utilize this WaPOR database in their countries and for their own applications. So this year's theme is about communicating WaPOR data for agriculture applications, and it has 2 components, both the how to use the data for agricultural applications, be it for supporting irrigation managers and farmers on the ground, but also looking at how to communicate the data. WaPOR data is huge amounts of data, both in spatial and temporal resolutions. And I think during the Rome Water Dialogue, Livia explained that there many terabytes of data that is being processed and being made available for the end users. And we're really looking forward how to communicate this data in a way that decision makers can utilize for their own applications. So with that, I think, we're very excited that we have about 22 teams already formed that are excited in developing their ideas into these applications. And we're very interested to hear what comes out of these discussions, and what you as a community come up with in terms of how to utilize the WaPOR data for whatever you think it might be useful for. So we're really excited to hear about your ideas in the next 2 weeks, and success to all the teams, and looking forward to seeing your pitches next week and the final pitches in the on 26th of October.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Marloes. And yes, we are also looking forward to all the teams and to see what's gonna be the ideas this year. So our second welcome word will be from Dr. Livia Pizer. Livia has been working with in the Land and Water Division of FEO for the last 12 years by applying spatial analysis to water resources assessment. Since 2015, she focuses on remote sensing application for water productivity monitoring through the implementation of the FAO WaPOR project. Dr. Livia couldn't be with us live. She shared a short video, which will be streaming now.
Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Livia Pizer. I work in the Land and Water Division of FAO. And I'm here, or virtually here today, to welcome you to the opening of the second online WaPOR Hackathon. The theme this year is on communicating data for agriculture application, and I really believe this is a critical topic, and that's because there's very little value for data if we can't use it for supporting decision-making processes. And for that, we need to find better ways to communicate the more and more complex data that we are handling. It's more complex because we have more data, but also because of the more complex interactions that we need to monitor. So, well, I'll just keep it short. I just want to thank you. Thank you so much for being here, for joining us in this exciting challenge. I have great expectations if I think back of the impressive results of last year hackathon. So I wish you all the best. I must say that I'm happy of not being a member of the jury that will have to decide on the winner, because I'm sure it will be very difficult. There will be so many good ideas. So yes, enjoy, because that's a requirement for coming up with good ideas. Enjoy, learn, get to interact with others as much as possible, and I'm really looking forward to see the outcomes. Goodbye. Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Livia Pizer. I work.
Yes, so this was the welcome words from Livia from FEO. And now we will move forward to our keynote speakers for this opening session. Our first keynote speaker is Dr. Mohammed Harib from the American University of Beirut. Dr. Mohammed holds a PhD in mechanical engineering from the North Carolina State University. He's currently assistant professor at the mechanical engineering department at AUB and is co-leading the Smart Structure Laboratory. Mohammed is an advocate of design thinking approaches and has invested in many projects and programs aimed to more actively engaging students in their classes and communities. Mohammed has also founded and is currently directed the AUB Makerspace, the Red Room, where he is advising a team of students and young designers to empower youth and community with student-driven space to explore their interests, develop creative projects, and learn how to use material tools and advanced technologies. Thank you very much, Dr. Mohammed, for being with us today. And the floor is yours for the welcome keynote.
All right. Hello, everyone, and thanks, Amani. You can hear me, right? Okay. Thank you, Amani, so much. Thanks for the invitation. And this is really a very exciting opportunity for everybody to get involved, to play with data, and really help the communities around them. I'm assistant professor in mechanical engineering at the American University of Beirut in Lebanon. Just to give you a very quick background of what I do, to also get to also notice that I also work with data, maybe slightly different than what you guys do. But my focus is a lot on materials, the use of advanced materials in the aerospace industry, from monitoring of the material, testing of the material, and also specifically recycling of this material instead of going to waste, how we can reuse it in different applications across the engineering field, was it in the aerospace, the automotive, or even just for prototyping of different parts and structures that we need on like daily basis. What I wanted to talk to you guys is mainly about the data. When we look at data, how we can actually really understand the data and how to use that data. I'm going to talk about something related to a human-centered design. This is one of the things that I'm very passionate about, and then been teaching my students, was it at the graduate levels or the undergrads, on how to really think about designs from a human's perspective. Okay, we're going to start with this data that we can collect from a family portrait. Usually, when I'm giving a workshop on a human-centered design, one of the things that is highly important for us in any design you do is actually collecting data. We see here two pictures. One drawn by a kid who's around 4 or 5, the one on the left, and then the one on the right is a picture drawn by a kid possibly around 8 or 9 years old. As adults, usually, and I'm sharing this data here, or this portrait, so everybody could actually relate to it. Usually, we are great in looking at pictures, analyzing pictures, especially something about family, right? We've all probably had drawn a family portrait, or on daily basis now with the use of the technology, we take pictures a lot. So these are drawn by kids.
So I'm going to interrupt you for a second.
Yes.
But we can't see your slides moving. So if you can just...
Oh, yeah. You can't see the slide?
No, we see the pictures, yeah. I think
you can see it now? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Is it on full screen? Can you see it now? Can you see it on the full screen? Sorry.
No, we see the presentation mode.
Okay. Is this good?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Something that we usually relate to is directly, for example, looking at the picture on the right, where we see there's some data in there that tells us, the family is happy. They are probably playing together. They are maybe even exercising or something. And then there's also information in the background that we see, which is mainly helping us to collect data about this family. And this is something that we can directly relate to. The one on the left, most of us, or even a lot of people that I usually ask them about this picture, is they tell me that it's, there's nothing really to collect. There isn't really much information. It's hard for us to actually look at the picture and collect data and understand what the kid was trying to really relate to us. Now, if we actually look deeper, and with the help of the kid, there are different points that we can actually collect from this. So here we are looking at the data from a different perspective. In addition to that, we are getting the help of the person who is actually who had put this information together. So, for example, if we look at the mother, we only see the face. If we look at the brother, there's only mainly legs and like a torso. If we see the father, there's hands that is mostly shown, and so on. Now, how can we relate this? How does this tell us anything about the kid or his experience? Now, if we actually talk to the kid, he would tell us that, for his mother, what he actually cares about, or what he really sees, is the face. That's what he's always constantly looking at. That's what he cares. He's looking for the emotions that's coming out of the mom. That are mainly in the face. If we look at the father, for example, when we ask the kid, he tells us that the father is always holding him. So for him, what he sees of the dad, other than the face, is also the hands, right? He's very interested in this. In the brother, he always sees his brother running. So that's how he is showing us what those means. So this is where data, from a very simple portrait, this is what the information that is related to us, we could understand it differently, because we are used to looking at certain things. It's easy for us to look at something in the right, understand it better than the portrait on the left. Now, usually when we collect data and we are looking for design, we go through a process, which is mainly we are trying to look at what is available for us, what are the constraints, what are the requirements that are needed. We go into what we call the produce design solution. So this is, we are synthesizing the data. We are trying to come up with solutions, and then we go into the analysis or even the application part. And this falls under what we call the human-centered design. So any design that we're doing here has to be human-centered. And this is very well known through the D School at Stanford, where they split it into 5 different phases. From empathize, we are empathizing with the users, truly trying to understand what they are going through, not only just listening to them, but even watching, observing, and doing all that. So we are collecting as much data as possible that we can relate to, and that also covers well the problem that we're facing, into defining what the problem is, and going ideation, prototyping, and testing. So this is from what we call the human-centered design perspective, where we are trying to understand the user problems, and then solving them. So now, if you are collecting data and you're trying to solve something, you have to connect with the community that you're actually solving for. You have to understand their perspective and things, instead only looking at it from your own side, which is, we usually say, can I just design based on my own experience? Well, you can, but how helpful would that actually be to the people that you are designing for? So you have to be immersed in it. You have to understand the data in order to do that. So just one example, one design example that I would like to show you is, if we look at this MRI machine, probably most of us know what this is, or if we have used it, it's kind of, us as adults, if we are using it, it's actually very hard to sit still, to be able to hear all this noise and stay there for quite long period of time. So if we take that, and now you are trying to design it, or you are trying to convince a kid to actually use this, this is going to be very difficult. In some cases, yes, the kids, maybe they are put to sleep when they have to go on this, but other cases they have to stay awake. They have to experience this difficult time inside the MRI, because it's very contained, it's very small, and noises and so on. And it also feels that there's something going on. The kids are not going to be comfortable with it. So in order to be able to design for this, yes, I can bring my own experience. Now, as an adult, I can give you some data that you can play with in order to design something different. But one of the best ways to actually do this is to go and collect the data from the right users. So here's an example where the founders of this, one of the companies, actually went out and they connected with the little kids, showing them this. They were trying to understand how would they like, or how would they accept this this machine, and they would go into it. So after working with that, collecting data from the kids, they came up with a design. The MRI is still the same. It's still the same machine. It does the same thing. But just by simply designing it to the needs of the kids or how the kids actually see it, things could be different. And we can approach designs from a different perspective, not only looking at our own experience, but collecting the right data, looking at it from the right eye and the right angle in order to be able to come up with the design. This is mainly what I want to talk to you guys about, and this is something that a lot of us already use in the human-centered design, but maybe sometimes we forget how to look at the data on the right angle, especially as engineers. I'm an engineer. I know what we go through. We're always coming with solutions upon what we actually understand and what we actually think is better for the users. So thank you so much, and good luck with your designs.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Muhammad, for this talk. And I think, yeah, it's very important what you highlighted, like working with data, how do you see data, and the users, basically, who are we producing this data for, and how is it intended to be used? So from a different perspective, but I think also within our work on the WaPOR and in the agricultural sector and things like that, what's all this data that we are producing to see how can we communicate it and share it with other participants.
Sure.
Thank you very much for being with us, and thank you for the talk again.
Yeah.
And yeah, now we will go to our next keynote speaker. He couldn't be with us live, but he shared a small video. Our second keynote is Alvaro. He's an environmental engineer that fell in love with data and maps. He got started with GIS, doing research at the Technical University of Madrid, the German Research Center of Geosciences, and the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Then he fully transitioned to data engineering roles at software companies. Alvaro is now a data curator at Felt, where he works on managing data libraries, building the pipeline to ingest geophysical data, and educating users on Felt. So we'll move ahead to watching the video from Alvaro.
Okay, hi everybody. So first of all, just thanks for having me here in the second edition of the WaPOR Hackathon. And thanks especially to Hans van der Kwast for inviting us here, for being a fan of Felt. I'm really excited to be here. So I'm just going to get started by telling you a bit about myself. My name is Alvaro Redondo, and I'm a data curator at Felt. But I actually studied environmental engineering, so the topic at hand here is quite close to my heart. And one thing I discovered while I was studying environmental engineering is that there was this really powerful tool that we ended up having to use for basically any class, any project, called GIS. So you've probably heard of GIS, Geographic Information Systems, and it's a way of working with geospatial data, right? So I got really fascinated into this topic, and I started going a bit deeper, and ended up doing my master's in topography and cartography. And I was fortunate enough to do a year abroad in Germany, in the German Research Center for Geosciences, and that's where I learned that I could do these spatial data workflows, not only in a desktop tool like QGIS, but also as code. So I started coding in R, then coded in Python, and I slowly transitioned from, just a pure environmental engineer to first a back-end engineer, then a data engineer, then a data scientist. And finally, I'm a data curator here at Felt, as I said. Okay, so enough about me. What is Felt, and why are we here, and why might it be useful to you during this hackathon? Well, Felt is basically what I have in the back here. Let me get myself out of the way. And it's a web-based mapping tool, not very different from those desktop GIS that I've talked about before. But what makes Felt special is that we aim to make basically two things true, right? One is that there are certain workflows in GIS that are complex, they're hard to do, and we aim to make those easy but also powerful. So easy for anyone new to come and just start playing with their data, but also powerful for the pros to be able to do everything that they do somewhere else. The second is that we aim to be really, really good at communication, so at collaborating with other people, working on other maps with people. I'll show you more about that later. So just to get started, the most powerful tool here in Felt, you'll see a toolbar at the bottom, is this one to the right called Upload Anything. And kind of one of the value propositions here is that you can drag anything, or click here and drag and upload it, any file on your computer, and it'll just work, right? You don't have to specify whether it's vector, whether it's raster, what coordinate reference system it's in. So I'm actually going to go and download a very popular data set, the natural Earth countries. And I'm just going to go and take that zip file as is and drag it into Felt. Okay, and it's now uploading. Oh, it's actually uploaded twice. That's something with my browser. Let me get rid of one of those. And what's going on here, you'll see this processing advance, is that we're doing certain of operations in the background. We're calculating statistics for styling, and we're also tiling the data so that it displays well at any resolution. What I mean by that is that, let me show you an example. This is just a few megabytes, but actually here's an example with hundreds of gigabytes, 185 gigabytes. These are buildings for the whole world. They're available in the data library, so you can use them even if you haven't uploaded any files. And I'm just going to go ahead and zoom into Madrid. This is where I live. And you'll see that we have here all the buildings in the world, right? And they display quite quickly and seamlessly because they've been tiled previously. So let me get that out of the way. Zoom to fit to our new layer, the natural earth countries. It's displayed here, and now I can start styling it. I can start playing with it. So I can go to the edit button here. That displays in pink because it's a new layer. And I can maybe just leave this as a simple style. Maybe I want to change the color to red or to blue or to orange. Or I can go and take it one step further and style it based on the contents of the data. So instead of a simple style, I'm going to use a category style. And I'm going to color by a certain feature in my data, which is the region of the UN. Okay. And you can see that now my countries are colored according to what region they correspond to in the UN classification. So Africa, Asia, the Americas, Europe, Oceania, or even Antarctica. It's down here at the bottom. You can't see it at first glance. Okay, so that's upload anything. This is a very quick example. There's a powerful cousin to upload anything that I'm really, really fond of, which is called add from URL. So you can use it either here in the top left felt menu, file add from URL, or you can just directly go and copy paste a URL, and we'll detect if it contains any kind of geospatial data. So I'm going to go to this Google Sheet here where I have city RUT, RUT. I'm going to explain what that means in a minute. I'm just going to copy the URL, go back to my map and paste. And it says URL has data that can be downloaded. Let's add it to the map. And now it's going through the same process, right? Like downloading the data, just that I didn't have to download it to my computer. It's directly going into Felt. So RUT is a measure of how impressive the backdrop of a city is. So if a city is surrounded by really tall mountains, it's going to have a high RUT, right? And here we have the 100 cities with the highest RUT. So you've got cities like Innsbruck in Austria that are just surrounded by these huge towering mountains. And these are the top 100 in the world. And I can take you, for example, to one of my personal favorites. It's the city of Arequipa here in Peru. You can see this is what it looks like in real life. It's not an exaggeration. It's not an effect of the photo. It has this gigantic volcano called the Misty volcano in the back. And it's actually quite close to the city of Arequipa. So if I switch to a satellite-based map, I can see it. It's right here. And I can measure how far it is, right? So I'm going to use a route with the flying mode to just measure from Arequipa to the Misty volcano. I'm going to turn on the distance measurement. And since I work with metric units instead of imperial units, I'm just going to go to the Felt menu, view, whoops, sorry, I'm in the way. Let me get myself out of the way. Felt menu, view, units, and switch to metric. Okay, so it's just under 20 kilometers from the center of the city, and it's, I think, 2,000 meters higher. It's brutal. Okay, so we can style this layer as well. I'm going to turn on the regular base map. We can style this layer, and this time, instead of doing a categorical visualization, let's do a color range one. So we're going to style it by a numeric variable, which is going to be the RUT, which is this measure of how impressive it is, right? The backdrop. And since this has a very wide range and most of the data points are concentrated in the lower end of the range, I'm going to switch to a different kind of classification. Instead of using a continuous method, I'm going to use geometric intervals, which work well with right skewed data like this one. Okay, and you'll see that my legend is updated, and I can use the legend to filter and get to know my data better. So I'm just going to select these two top categories, and you'll see that I only have 2 points in the two top categories. One is this city in China. It's called Kangding, and you can see that it's in the Tibetan mountains. It's literally embedded inside the valley. The other one, our number one here, is the city of Pokhara in Nepal. So Pokhara is, you can see the Annapurna mountain in the background. It's surrounded by these gigantic mountains, almost the highest in the world. And one really cool thing, as I mentioned with Felt, is that I can start collaborating with other people, right? So I can do stuff like go to the top right here and say, I'm going to share this map with people directly by email or via a link. And I can configure what this link does, if no people can see it, if anyone with the link can view it, or in this case, if anyone can view and comment. So I've set this permission. I can now go and, click, copy the link, share it with anybody. And now anybody can add comments and say, hey, this is the Annapurna mountain. Or I can add another comment that says, did you know Pokhara is the second most populous city in Nepal after Kathmandu? And it works just like comments in other software you may be used to. So somebody can answer and reply in that thread. Oh, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. Okay. So one last feature I want to show is that I've shown upload anything with vector. I've shown add from URL with vector, but you're probably more interested in raster here because that's the nature of the data we're playing with. So I've added a link to another map here in this island in Lake Victoria, and let's just go on to it. And you'll see I've copied here an image, a copy of the WaPOR datasets. So using add to URL, it's really easy to add these. I can just go to the website, and maybe select one of these, gross biomass water productivity, and I can press download, and I can copy that link and now take it to my felt map, add to map, and now it's being added in the same way. Okay, so I'm not going to wait for that to finish because it's a bit of a large data set. I'm just going to show you directly the results. And I'm really excited to show, I've got 20 seconds, this really cool feature we just added, which is raster styling. So instead of displaying it in grayscale, you can now go in and style raster in the same way as you could do with a vector map. So I'm just going to really quickly try to reproduce the map we have there, maybe using this color ramp, reversing the colors, and okay, that's it for the water one. You can see it's really, really quick. I can do the same for the gross biomass water productivity one. In this case, I'm going to use a color range as well, and I'm going to exclude values with 0, just like it is in this example here in the corner. Maybe use this other color ramp that goes from red to green and use a Jenks style. Okay, now I've reproduced that map as well. Finally, you can do the same with categorical maps. So I've started doing one here with the land cover classification. And that's it. I'm over my time, but just wanted to show you what Feld is capable of. Finally, one last footnote. I've left some notes here in René-Levasseur Island. I'd like to encourage you to just, if you're interested in this way of communicating and showing your data, just create an account. It's free until 2024 for everybody, but we've committed to make Felt free for students forever. So in classroom use, if you're interested in using Felt, reach out to your professor and we can arrange getting a free license. And also, if you want to learn more, here's a link to our YouTube channel where we've got some really cool videos. You can also check out our Reddit where you can post questions or just write directly to support if you need any help. That's all, a really quick overview. Thanks so much. I hope you use this and I hope it's exciting and it's a good way of communicating or reaching your goals in this hackathon. Best of luck.
Okay, so I think this was an interesting talk from Alvaro. So I saw also in the chat a couple of questions. So we'll try to be answering also these maybe later at some points during the hackathon. And now we will move to our last speaker for this opening session, and a special speaker as well because we'll be speaking with Andre. And Andre was one of the participants of the winning teams in of the finalists for the last year's hackathon of 2022. And Andre completed his MSc degree in irrigation engineering and management for food security at IHE Delft. And he's now the head of research and communication subdivision at PT Reist. Thank you very much, Andre, for being with us. And we're looking forward to hear your speech and to see maybe a little bit your shared experience from last year's hackathon. Sure, I think. Yeah, I think we'll just wait a couple of seconds for Andre. I think he's having a little bit of a connection problem. Yeah, so thanks for everyone also for interacting in the chat. I see like a lot of comments on the YouTube. And yeah, if you have any comments or questions, you can post them there or also write to us after to connect, to stay in contact. Okay, so I think Andre is back with us. Hi, Andre, can you hear us now?
Yeah. Hi, Amani. Sorry
Hi.
for my bad connections before.
It's fine.
So I need to move.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you very much for being with us and for taking the time to speak. And we'll give you the floor to hear your presentation and your
Yeah.
talk.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Amani. Thank you also for the committee for giving me this opportunity for just sharing about my experience last year's joining the 2022 WaPOR Hackathon. It was a great opportunity because not only about the competition, not only about the event, but also I myself can then have a great discussions, great sharing my current knowledge, and also the get the other insight from the people in my team, because we had participants or member from very broad in the background, also with many countries joining in a team. So me personally, Andre is from Indonesia, but my team members, Edward is from Africa, Hiba also from the East Asia, and Yosufa and Akimana Goretti also from the Africa. So we had also the different background, but mostly in water. But me personally is from the irrigation engineering, Hiba from the civil engineering, and Dola and Akimana more into about the social and economical. So not all the team members here has a background in the the civil engineering or the water engineering. So we completely have a different background, and also during the competitions we had great discussions, and some people give another input from the others for building this our project. So uh, the last year's theme about WaPOR for monitoring and evaluation of global challenge. So we decided to define our objectives is to address the critical need for reliable soil moisture information in Africa, region where agricultural plays a vital role in combating food crisis, especially in Africa. So we raised the topic about the soil moisture data because we think this parameter is fundamental for decision making in various agricultural practices such as irrigation scheduling, crop calendar planning, and fertilizer application. So, to achieve the food security, the most important thing we look for in our project is about the soil moisture data monitor. Precision agriculture can also enable by accurate soil moisture data and can significantly increase the crop yields, contributing to the food security. So, uh, my team then decide to generate a WebGIS of soil moisture data. We name it Aquamos. So the Aquamos itself has four main value about the modeling the essential parameters, especially for the irrigations and also for the agricultural management. So for the M, so for the second value is open source. We use WaPOR, we use other open source data to generate our WebGIS, and also we provide our Aquamos is freely available for the users. The third one is our value is to support the food security, because we want to tackle the food crisis, And the last one is about the temporal resolutions daily. So we emphasis about our high temporal resolution, so people, farmers can generate or can obtain the data daily, day by day for the soil moisture data. Then, yeah, this is more technical, but we generate or we collect data from the open source, let's say from the precipitations, from the actual evapotranspirations, from the permanent melting point and the saturated water content in the soils from uh, all of the open source, also from the WaPOR. And then we using some calculations day by day to get the soil moisture content, daily soil moisture content. And this is for the framework of our WebGIS. We use the WaPOR, other open source data like the soil grids, and also the idea is the idea concept is to collect also the field observed measurement using several tools. Then we combine all of the data as the input and process in QGIS. And from this QGIS, we then develop a QGIS to web plugin to get the to get the web the Aquamos, to develop the Aquamos to generate data and provide data for the farmers. Yeah, this is for I'm sorry, because in this opportunity I cannot share the video, but I hope the video is available online. I don't know, from my project, from our project. This is from, yeah, this is just for the example. So in the WebGIS we generate, we can type the place or the farmers can type the place they want to get the data. Let's say this is Kabarore in Africa, in Rwanda, and this is the point that located the Kabarore. And just click in the area, then the the farmers can get the soil moisture. Let's say in this example is 13% of soil moisture at that day. So not only about the soil moisture in WebGIS, we also develop to get also uh, the other parameters, soil parameters. Let's say the saturated water content here. Uh, then also by clicking uh, in certain locations, then farmers can get the the number or the value of the saturated water content. So yeah, we planned not only just soil moisture content, because during the competition uh, we we obtained several insights, several ideas from the judges, from the mentors, and it was very helpful for us to develop this WebGIS. But also we push to explore our new idea, even not will be realized in that competitions, but uh, we had an idea to also using this WebGIS, we can generate the soil moisture predictions, doing the water accounting, and also integrate with the artificial intelligence to get the more precise values, and also to get reliable value for the soil moisture and other components or parameters in the agriculture. So for the new participant for this year's WaPOR Hackathon. Yeah, this is tips from us, from our team. Yeah, just reflects from our last competition in the 2022 hackathon. So I think the most important thing is we need to understand the WaPOR. What is the WaPOR? And we need to be familiar with the WaPOR platform, and what are what are the data we can obtain from this helpful and also this important database, open source database, and identify the opportunities for the improvement. What can we do using the data from WaPOR, or also we can also improve the WaPOR itself. It's also possible. So the second is also we need to define a clear goal. What should we determine the specific problem? Let's say from my team, we need to tackle the food security, but more specific, we want to generate the soil moisture data to help farmers to get the daily soil moisture data for their irrigation scheduling and other use or other agricultural practice. And also the goal is need to be aligned with the hackathon objectives. So and I know the WaPOR hackathons every year has different theme and objectives, so it need to be aligned with this objectives and theme. And also the third one, the collaborative effectively. Because we were located in different countries. I was in Netherlands, my team, others, in Africa or in Asia. So we need to fix a schedule to get to can be discussed, even in the online platform. But it need to be emphasis that we need to collaborate effectively. We can also consult with our mentor, because our mentor also give us several ideas, several insights to develop our ID, not only raw ID, but more into detail. And thanks to Marlus, because she was developing our ideas, our initial ID, to be more realistic and be more operational to can be participated in these competitions. And also the most important is innovative ideas. There are many ideas, there are many innovations have been developed to generate the WaPOR. Also you can look at the previous or the second years before about the innovation in the WaPOR hackathon. And also you can googling what is the current technologies using WaPOR, but you need to has a innovative ideas to be can be joined in this part in this hackathon. So also you need to skill actually. I was very delightful because my team not only has a background in technical skills, but they also the presentation skill. They can also know how to develop and also know how to present the ID into, let's say, to make it be more commercial for the user or for the developer or for the, let's say, for the investor. So we need to also prepare and complete the effective communicate about our project goals, because people or audience need to know clearly about our innovation or idea. I think that was my experience that I can share representing my team, because not only my team members and not all my members can also join in this sharing sessions, but I hope the participant in this year hackathon can also contribute their ideas, can also develop their ideas during this hackathon. Thank you, Amani.
Yes, thank you very much, Andre. I think this was a very interesting presentation and kind of feedback for the participants of this year's hackathon. So thank you very much for sharing your experience. And I hope it also gives some motivation for the teams to work on their ideas and communicate, share, interact with each other, and experience, like just enjoy the experience throughout the 2 weeks, even just sharing talking, discussing with other participants could be a very interesting experience as well. And thank you also for sharing the tips. I hope everyone took notes. I think it's very interesting how you categorized them, and Also in the innovation part, I think this is also very interesting, and it links a little bit to what Dr. Muhammad said about the data and how do we want to link the data, and thinking about our users, what is needed, how do we want to communicate it. And it aligns perfectly under the theme we have for this year's hackathon, which is basically focused a lot on communicating data specifically for this year in the agricultural applications. So thank you very much for being with us, Andrea, and thank you for your talk.
Yeah,
So for the others, so I think this was Andrea was our last speaker for the opening session. So as Andrea mentioned, also like we have different teams. We have for this hackathon we had around 168 participants who registered for this year's hackathon from different backgrounds, covering different fields, backgrounds, and they were grouped into teams. And we managed in the end to, as Dr. Marlos mentioned, to form 22 teams. With the participants for this year, and they will be working together for the next time, 2 weeks to create their ideas and share them. I think we have some questions for Andrea. Andrea, you're still with us? Let's see. Maybe we can. I think. Okay, we'll try to reach out to Andre. I think his connection is a little bit out, but we'll share the questions with him. Okay, thank you for posting the questions, and so also for the participants of the hackathon, make sure to get in contact with your coaches and the experts. To ask any questions and get advice from them on how to progress, what you are dealing with, and how you want to move forward with everything with your ideas. So for all the participants, we hope that you have a good 2 weeks ahead. We're looking forward to working with you and to just supporting you during the next 2 weeks and hearing your ideas and your pitches for the hackathon. As we mentioned, you can find all the information on the open courseware that we created for this hackathon. All the information are there, and you can reach out to us anytime. We'll be available to support you with any information. We'll be available specifically today between 1 and 3 p.m. to answer any questions via email that you have. And it's possible also to set some short meetings with the teams to just to answer any quick questions and clarify things to help you move forward in the next 2 weeks. So we have organized everything for the meeting with the experts and some training on how to prepare your video pitch for the jury members. And these all events will be taking place in the next weeks. So we're very excited to welcome everyone, and we look forward for supporting you and listening to your ideas in the coming weeks. For all the questions that are posted, thank you very much. We'll address them and we'll post them on the platform. Yes, as mentioned. So we'll get back to you in any questions you have, and you would like to also get in touch with the people if you want to also more details and the answers. So thank you everyone again, and yes, we are looking forward to listening to your ideas in the coming weeks.